Sir, how did this business journey start?
In the meantime, Shri Refrigeration became a private limited company, invested in its own CNC fabrication factory expansion.
Typically, when you bid for these tenders, what is the normal pricing kind of mechanism?
Main cost in such projects is typically called as type testing cost because every time you offer a new product, it has to go through a series of type tests.
How do we add value to the customer?
Newer and newer set of challenges to make the systems more efficient, more compact, more maintenance free, more reliable. And this is a continuous process because as the time passes, technologies keep evolving.
Welcome, friends. My name is Avinash Gorakshakar, and I welcome all of you to another interesting episode of Konexio HighFlyers. Friends, as all of you are aware, in these episodes, we introduced emerging companies from emerging sectors, and we make it a point to talk to the promoters and the top managements of such companies so that all of us can understand these companies in a much better way. In this process, we get to a lot of valuable information from the management as regards their business model, their growth journey, their future growth plans. And friends, today we've got another interesting company which is going to hit the capital market very soon. The company's name is Shree Refrigeration Limited, and I have the privilege of having the managing director, Mr. Ravalnath Gopinath Shende.
Namaskar. Avinash ji,
Namaskar, Shende
namaskar.
sir. Very my pleasure to talk to you today. And sir, I'm pretty sure that in this small interview, we'll be able to understand your company's operations in a much better way. We also have Mr. Manoj Mahavir Kothale, who is the Chief Financial Officer.
Namaste, sir.
Manojji,
Namaste, sir.
thank you for you also. I think we will definitely have a very productive time today to understand the company.
Definitely, sir.
First question which I want to ask you as a promoter of the company, sir, how did this business journey start, and how did you hit upon this idea of getting into this business? And secondly, sir, what is the positioning of our company, and broadly, if you can explain to us what is the business model of our company? So, if you can please share your thoughts.
Yeah, to make it a very brief statement about the journey, I did my graduation from VZTI way back in 1983 in production engineering, and then after a year and a half stint with Larsen and Toubro, I did about 6 years with Kirloskar Brothers, the compressor manufacturing company. And when we were working with compressor manufacturing, I came across a lot of people whom I thought did not have all that knowledge about refrigeration systems and were immensely successful in their business of air conditioning. So I said, my favorite motto here is what they can do, I can do better. So I started getting into manufacturing domestic air conditioners. Over a period of time, the domestic air conditioner market was getting opened up to large corporations because of reduction in excise tariffs. And it was time for MSMEs to pack up from that segment. But we always, as a company, try to look for niche markets. And I found my niche in milk refrigeration and printing refrigeration, where we had some very unique products. And we were suppliers to Alpha Level, that is D Level, which who had a factory in Karat, and the biggest printing machinery manufacturers, Manubrar. And this supplier customer relationship with these two esteemed customers went on for years together, with we trying to develop newer and more efficient, more aesthetically elegant models for their applications. Then in 1998, 1999, we started making compressor test equipment for immersion, which was my previous company, Kirloskar Brothers. These three product package took us all the way to 2006, and the growth starting from 5 lakh rupees per year turnover to something like 8 crore rupees per year. Incidentally, the business Shri Refrigeration was started with 10,000 rupees as a capital investment. And then in 2008, as the economy was opening further and the competition was becoming more and more severe, we had to find out real niche markets. And there was an obsolescence also happening in both the segments, milk cooling as well as printing. Printing industry was shifting to spread handling systems, and we had no take on that. So we did a collaboration with a Swedish multinational, Inventor Graphics, and started to produce their equipment in India in Shri Refrigeration with local manufacturing, local support. And then we conquered all of printing industry, even driving out a couple of multinationals from India. That has been my favorite business strategy, is to get the technology from reputed world-class players, bring it in India, offer it to the Indian customers at an affordable price because of local manufacturing and local support. And this has given me excellent results all across my product segments. And this went on well until 2012. In the meantime, Shri Refrigeration became a private limited company, invested in its own CNC fabrication shop, a new factory expansion. And in 2012, I was looking for a business where we would have at least a medium term to long term business visibility. And in came the Indian Navy, where the visibility was high, the entry barriers were very high, but we were confident we could crack them very easily because of the technical inherent strengths in the company in terms of design, engineering, manufacturing, and support. And because we were serving to very mission critical industries like milk and printing, your newspaper needs to be there on your breakfast table along with your glass of milk. So there was hardly any margin for error, or hardly any margin for service failure resulting into stoppage at the customer end. And we had some very prestigious customers in both the segments, like a French company called Serap and Alpha Laval in milk, and Monograph, and a couple of multinationals in packaging industry like Bob's and all. So we had a good foothold, but the market size was not really great, and we were looking for growth, growth, and growth. The company has been extremely focused on growth, particularly since the expansion in 2008. And Navy, we did a few successful initial projects as a sub vendor to some big companies. And the Lady Luck smiled in 2006 when we got an opportunity to do the air conditioning of INS Dhruva, which is the flagship, what you can say is intelligence ship, which tracks all the waves and everything, creates some useful MIs for the government. That was a breakthrough where we got ourselves registered as an Indian naval supplier for air conditioning plants.
Okay.
Then came one of the toughest technical challenges that my company was offered, was to develop air conditioners for Scorpion submarines. Submarines air conditioning is an entirely different ballgame because of very challenging operating environment and operating conditions, where the tilt performance of your air conditioning plant has to be proven at like 45 degrees of tilt on all the directions. So we took the challenge. I'm glad my team did take up the challenge thrown by Muscotok Limited's indigenization department, and we developed Scorpion submarine air conditioners and the control panels, which again was a challenge because submarines runs on DC and the AC runs on AC. So to convert the variable DC supply into a constant AC supply, I'm glad to tell you that my company developed a product at less than 5% of the cost of the total product of capacity.
Okay.
So we did supply all these equipments, and a lot of issues or doubts were raised if Shri Refrigeration can handle this kind of technical challenge. Today, I'm glad the last of the Vakshir submarines runs on Shri Refrigeration ACs and control panels. And I'm glad the challenge that Navy wanted to shift the naval air conditioning from conventional screw compressors to oil-free magnetic bearing compressors, with only one multinational offering that product. It was a very tricky situation for Indian Navy. Shri Refrigeration again took the challenge to develop the product, offered to do a technical demonstration on a warship, and successfully got the technology from an internationally reputed company, installed the demonstration product, were successful in that product, got the nomination into the air conditioning plant's order for the 7 ships of class Project 17 Alpha stealth frigates. and beating all the multinational competitions, we won that contract and we have executed it. After that, of course, we were facing a challenge of not being able to do turnkey air conditioning for the warships because we didn't have the registration. So we created necessary testing facilities back end and went to the Indian Navy seeking that registration. So with that registration, we went on to win many more contracts like shallow water corvettes, then next generation offshore petrol vessels, fast petrol vessels, shallow water crafts, anti-submarine operations, and yeah, with winning of the all the three contracts for fleet support ship, Shri Refrigeration today has become a company with the highest reference list, highest order book, highest team strength in the field, and kind of number one in the naval HVAC segment, starting from a small scale company in a small town called Karad. Shri has done, I believe, it's pretty good to create a credible alternative to very expensive multinational corporations for the Indian naval air conditioning. My catchword here again was to cool the air and water. We have enough technology domestically. Atmanirbhar Bharat, Make in India, is good enough to handle naval air conditioning. We don't need foreign vendors. We don't need foreign technology for this. Thank you.
I think Shendeji very nicely articulated by you in your answer. Second question, which is also addressable to you, Shendeji, tell us, in your own words, in the next say 3 to 5 years, you said Navy has got a very large requirement. You cater to some other sectors also. Overall, what is the total addressable market which is available for us in the next 3 to 5 years? I just want to understand how big is the market opportunity and how are we planning to capitalize this opportunity for Shri Refrigeration? If you could please tell us from your side.
Absolutely great question. Sir, there has been a 5-year-old KPMG report on Indian naval and marine shipbuilding, which states in those days a total naval shipbuilding value at 40 billion US dollars. That roughly translates into 3,20,000 crore of Indian shipbuilding in defense segment alone. Another comparable opportunity in the maritime sector.
Okay.
So for this, even a 1% share of the market for naval air for air conditioning and refrigeration, the industry is looking at 6,000 plus crores worth of market on fresh equipment sale. Plus, there is a great replacement market available on warships because with the change of technology, warships need additional air conditioning because the newer and newer electronic warfare systems have generated higher, more and more cooling loads which need to be supplemented. And so air conditioning plants are being upgraded and in terms of capacity, in terms of technology, like replacing old design screw compressor systems with more efficient magnetic bearing compressors. So all this market looks really very, very attractive. And as I can tell you, this is a market with entry limited by way of invitation. So it's only
Yeah.
4 companies who can supply the air conditioning plants. Only 6 companies can supply the air conditioning.
Okay.
So
Okay.
within that, both the segments, we in Shri Refrigerations today are number one company.
Right.
And our strength is our manufacturing. In terms of catering to the ever-growing market, what we have done is this is extremely service-intensive business. So we have a very strong presence in all the ports like Mumbai, Vizag, Goa, uh, and Kolkata. Plus, we are enhancing and improving our manufacturing skill set by way of increasing the factory capacity, doing more and more things in-house with sheet metal into finished product out kind of vertical integration, which gives us a total control on quality, cost, and delivery. And this reflects in our competitive bid offering and all the
Correct.
tenders that we are participating in.
Correct. So I think
So we,
again, yeah. Again, I think Shendeji very nicely spoken by you. Shendeji, now tell me one thing. Typically, when you bid for these tenders, what is the normal pricing kind of mechanism? Like, if it is a big submarine or a big ship from the Navy side or maybe from a non-Navy side, how does pricing work? Is it basically depending upon the size of the project, the require the customization which you want to do? How does pricing work? Because typically every project will be unique in itself. So, sir, is it decided in the tender key? This will be my cost, this will be my margin, and this is the overall structure which we need to do. So, does it work like that? If you can please tell us in simple words.
Yeah, I'll make it short and sweet. The main cost in such projects is typically called as type testing cost, because every time you offer a new product, it has to go through a series of type tests. First product of all the
Correct.
technologies. Today, because of our exposure to variety of techs and variety of orders, we have a solid bank of type tested products.
Okay.
So when I am offering the same product to a new project, I don't have to type test it again. So I get an inherent price advantage. And in terms of pricing strategy, well, there is a whole lot of data available in terms of past projects, the bids submitted by various competitors. Then we do a SWOT analysis. We compare the past tender specification with the present tender specification, make the price adjustments, then we count on our strength to how to negotiate with the supply chain, how to improve the manufacturing efficiency so that we can keep our prices low. And the result is to be seen. Today we are sitting on more than 70-80% of the under construction ships orders.
Correct. Correct.
And the idea is to again offer a good product at a very competitive price and with a lot of local service and support.
Okay. So understood. Zendu so please correct me if I'm wrong. So typically, once you supply the air conditioning system to the ship, even the after sales is a big kind of an opportunity and a kind of a recurring revenue for us. So even after sales, maintenance, all that also comes with the contract, right?
Actually, this is a great question, Avinashi. That the most important thing in case of a naval warship or a submarine is that the plant should be always up and running. And second point is the ship designated for one particular site can be anywhere along the coastline in the event of a conflagration. So we must be stocking enough spares at all sites of potential repair possibilities across the shore, along with the properly well-trained technical team who can handle the repairs very express way. I'm glad that during the COVID period, my team worked on a ship in the middle of the night, getting an imported component at 4 o'clock in the morning and setting up the plant just in time. And we got some very nice accolades from the Indian Navy for our service support that we offered. Service is an important part. Spares availability, our Indian naval scenario is divided into two parts, which are OBS, onboard spares, which are mission critical spares, which are stored on the warship, and the second set of spares which are required for once in a while kind of scenarios is called as base and depot spares. The technical list of the spares requirement has been promulgated by the Indian Navy, and we are required to quote it in the tender level itself.
Okay.
And service support is also Navy enters into annual maintenance contracts with you once the warranty periods are over. So that also
Yeah.
forms an integral part of service revenue, which is generally a decent percentage of the total turnover.
Okay. Okay. No, understood. Shendeji, now one question which is not related to the financials. Now we have developed our expertise on the naval side, on the non-naval side for basically refrigeration systems. Tell me one thing, sir. How do we add value to the customer? As you said, the ship has to be running at all times, and that guarantee has to be given by our company. Please tell us what is the value add and in what way do we do our segment of business in a much better way? Like if you could tell us two, three qualitative points in what way is Shri Refrigeration doing its job much better than the MNCs or maybe the other competitors? One or two points, if you could highlight, which would help us understand, your company's profile in a much better way.
Yeah, Shri Refrigeration has always been adventurous in terms of addressing the Navy's problem statements. When Navy wanted to develop submarine air conditioners in India, we were the first ones. Yes, sir, I'll do it. when the Navy wanted to induct magnetic bearing compressors in the Indian Navy, we said, sir, okay, we will do it. We'll do a demonstration. We'll prove the technology. The third thing is now we are taking up newer and newer set of challenges to make the systems more efficient, more compact, more maintenance free, more reliable. And this is a continuous process, because as the time passes, technologies keep evolving, and 5 years to 7 years is a typical time that is required for a naval project. The technology evolves equally fast, so the next project will have a different set of technical requirements, and my company is always at the on the alert for inducting newer technologies in terms of maybe PLC programming, redundancies. In fact, we also helped Navy to induct a new technology in the seawater and chilled water pumps, that is can motor pumps, which are more compact. So we are always on the lookout for a new tech, and we do offer to Navy technology demonstration projects of such technologies which we feel are useful to the Navy. We have a very high quality interaction with the various professional directorates of Navy, like increase in the seawater temperature from 32 to 38, and the impact of the same on the performance of the plant, size of the plant, efficiencies of the plant. All this kind of information is very actively discussed and exchanged with the proper authorities.
So, understood. Shendiji, now just wanted to understand that we are a large player to the Indian Navy, as you rightly pointed. But apart from this, which are the other sectors which we cater? Like apart from Navy, are we also present on the non-Navy side? And typically, what could be our active customer base? Very broadly, if you could just tell us.
Yeah, my basically the company works on 5 competencies: pressure, flow, temperature, data, and communication. So any product that fits into these 5 requirements is a product that I can make.
Okay, okay,
The niche market that we want to address is we always target a market where we will be one of the top 3 players in the near distant future.
okay,
Because
okay.
if I am like supplier number 20,
Ah,
why should a customer buy from me?
exactly.
So the new technology that we are going to induct, uh, find a lateral application for this oil-free magnetic bearing compressors, is a data
Okay.
center cooling, which is again requires energy efficiency in terms of cooling the data center, because the data center, the biggest cost is cooling, like 45%, which is presently the darling of data center cooling industry. And we also have the
Exactly.
capability to produce, design and manufacture associated products like coolant distribution units, control panels. The
Okay.
next
Okay.
expansion is going to be in the defense segment. All the 3 branches of defense, Air Force, and Army currently that we are not addressing. We are
Yeah.
already have a product for cooling the radars, which is a
Yeah.
very high intensity EMI EMC in area.
Yeah.
We have a product which can continue to operate in a very hostile kind of environment. And for Army, we are looking to do shelter air conditioning, mobile air conditioning applications, again because a Scorpion air conditioner, which is mobile and is susceptible to shock, noise, and vibrations, is exactly the requirement of Army also. So the technology is similar. We just try to extend our product range by creating a service infrastructure, customer access infrastructure, and we are looking
Hmm.
at a huge potential for expansion.
So I think very nice to hear this, Shendiji. I'm quite sure
Thank
with the
you.
capabilities which you have developed, I think you will definitely be successful. Now, Manojji, sorry
Thank
to keep you waiting. Now, on the financials, I was just seeing our numbers. That is for
Yes.
FY24, our revenue was 80 crores compared to 51 crores. Our profit after tax
Yes.
this year has been very solid. In fact, we have done a PAT of almost 12.32 crores from
Yes.
2.57 crores. Manojji, tell me one thing. What was the key reason for this, excellent jump in the revenue as
Yes.
well as the profit? Were large orders executed? Did we get a better pricing? Was the product mix a little richer? What was the contribution and what was the reason for this superlative performance for profit of almost 12 crores?
Yeah. So the basic reason for the increase in profit is basically well, our revenue grew by almost 60%. This has resulted in additional contribution, and we have been able to control our expenses across all the types, finance cost or other expenses. this has resulted in higher profit after tax and PBT, sir.
Okay. And Manojji, if you could tell us, within this 80 crores, what is the level of customer concentration? Like, is there some level of concentration, or is it widely dispersed? If you could please tell us.
So we do almost 80 to 85% of the business with shipyards. 85
Correct.
percent business has been done under the defense segment, and
Okay.
mostly with the shipyards only.
Okay. Okay. Understood. So basically, largely shipyard business is a major contributor to our revenue. Right.
Yes.
Okay, Manojji, now tell me one thing for FY25, if you could share with us, the top line and the profitability number, because if, that is
Yes.
also available, that will help our investors.
Yes, sir. So, sir, our top line for FY24-25 is 98.30 crores, which grew at a 25%. If we look at last 3 years CAGR, our revenue from operations grew at 39.60% CAGR, out of which we have did 85% under the defense segment, and our defense segment grew at 50.70% CAGR over the past 3 years.
Okay. Okay. And Manojji, without giving a number, can we safely assume that the kind of EBITDA margins which we have maintained this year, can we
Yeah.
safely assume that these EBITDA margins, based on the cost structure, based on the the kind of business scenario we have, can we actually maintain these EBITDA margins at least?
Yes, we have able to maintain the EBITDA margin also. Our EBITDA for FY24-25 is 27.31 crores,
Okay.
which grew at 4.5% CAGR over the past 3 years, sir.
Okay.
Our
Okay.
PAT
Fine.
has been increased from 2.50 crores in FY22-23 to 13.55 crores in FY24-25, which is 5x growth in PAT. Our
Okay.
EPS has grew at 101% CAGR over the past 3 years, from 1.30 rupees per share to 5.25 rupees per share.
Okay. Okay. Understood. Fine. Manojji, now another finance related question. If you could tell us, see, we all know how defense companies function. Typically, what is the
Yeah.
working capital cycle in our business? Like, typically, right from the time you get the order, you execute it, you get the payment from the agency. Normally,
Yes.
what is the working capital cycle for us?
So our net working capital days are coming at 589 days, which include almost 300 days of receivables and 350 days of inventory. We need to carry a huge amount of inventory to undergo various testing protocols and approvals. Post that,
Okay.
we have to undergo some documentation clearance procedures to get our payments. Obviously, we are working on it to improvise our working capital cycle. We have inducted many ex-Navy officers and increase our quality assurance, design, and approval team. And we are expecting that next year we will be able to reduce our working capital cycle under less than 365 days.
Oh, understood. No, I think good to know. Now, the most important question of this interview, we are planning to go public. So, if you could please tell us what is the size of the issue, how much money we are planning to raise, and what is the main objective of raising this money? If you could please tell us.
So, total issue size is 93.86 lakh shares, out of which 18.25 lakh shares will be OFS by MDA VF, and 75.61 lakh shares will be fresh issue of shares. At upper cap, the total issue size is 117 crores and OFS is 22.81 crores. This brings
Okay.
fresh issue of 95 crores. The basic objective of the issue is funding our working capital requirement for our growth perspective and for execution of our existing orders in hand.
Okay. Okay. Understood. Manojji, now one important question which is related to the future prospects. I mean, whatever can be shared by you. Is our business a order book business? And if there is a order book, then can you share with us a broad order book, or is it something which is not possible to be shared? Please tell us.
So currently, as on 31st March 2025, we are having order in hand of 215 crores.
Okay. Okay.
Apart
And
from
this
this,
is
there are almost 175 to 80 crores of orders where we have
okay.
emerged as bidder.
Okay.
Purchase orders are in the process of being placed.
Okay. No, understood. And Manojji, broadly, this 200 crores order book which you have said, which is confirmed with us as of 31st March,
Yeah.
what is the timeline for completion in the next 2 years or 3 years? What is your assessment? In how much period these orders will get
Execution will
converted into
be done
revenue?
in upcoming 1.5 to 2 years, sir. Execution of
Okay.
these orders will be done in upcoming 1.5 to 2 years.
Okay. So basically, please correct me if I'm wrong, Manoj. It means there is good revenue visibility for our business. Like,
Yes,
for us, orders are already there. We just have to execute it in time, right?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, Shendeji, this question is to you. Like, we are now established as a very well-known vendor in the HVAC kind of segment. According to you, currently in the current domestic market, do you see any MNC competition coming, or do you see any fresh competition coming, or you think that the current companies which are catering to the Navy or to the non-Navy, there's going to be a very exclusive club of companies, and out of that we are present. So do you think that competitive intensity will increase, or we are very well placed to take care of future requirements also? Nobody can, disturb our momentum. Sir, what is your thought process on this?
So the entry into the exclusive naval air conditioning suppliers club is a 5-year process.
Correct.
A long, long process which requires deep pockets, which requires a complete management commitment that we demonstrated from 2012, that we started working with Navy, to 2016-17 when we got our first breakthrough orders. And in today's scenario, not many companies have shown this kind of intensity to get into that segment. Some people in the past, like huge corporations with 1 lakh plus crore kind of turnover, have tried to get into the segment and have not been able to sustain the kind of intensity. So the basic intensity sustenance comes from our love for our country. I'm glad to share here that we have an excellent connect with the defense forces. All the three living Paramveer Chakra winners, one Veer Chakra awardee and one Mahavir Chakra awardee, are good friends of Shri Refrigerations. They come here once in a year, give a motivational speech to our team, which keeps them motivated. And we have been able to imbibe that kind of patriotism in the team, where they want to produce the best of the equipment for our defense forces. So as of now, I don't see any new competition getting added into the club. In fact, we see the existing competition whom we are depriving a lot of orders may soon lose interest in the market.
Okay, okay. I think very nice to hear, Shendeji. Shendeji, now on the
Thank
managerial side, I see you have promoted this company, you head the operations. Sir, functionally, tell me one thing: what is the most important role you play in the company? Do you look at relationship management? Do you look at getting new orders? How is the company's management team structured? If you could please tell us in brief.
Yeah, for this size of the company, we probably have one of the strongest board, comprising of two commodores, one colonel sir, and very reputed technical professionals from large corporations who
Okay,
grace our board. And we have a very extremely structured management team with which consists of CEO, CFO, that Manoj is here. In fact,
yeah,
if you ask, we have a completely star-studded team, because without the team, we could never do the kind of things that we are doing. And
correct,
in terms of you can say delegation, my thought process goes back to my first job, that was with Larsen and Toubro, where Mr. Larsen is not there, Mr. Toubro is not there. The company that was trying to make 100 crores of turnover when I was employed is like 2,60,000 crore company today, with Mr. Larsen and Mr. Toubro nowhere in the picture. It's
correct,
a perfectly professionally managed company running in an auto mode, actually growing on its own success, having the best of the talent, having the best of the professionals, uh, getting into newer and newer business ventures, finding lateral application for the fund it has, and creating a unique win-win scenario for all the stakeholders. Sri
correct.
dreams to be the most professionally managed company in this segment.
Well, I think very nicely mentioned and understood, Shendeji. Shendeji, now tell me one thing. We are going public. It is a historical moment for us and a kind of a very new journey for us. I just wanted to ask you, Shendeji, now new investors will come join you in your growth journey. They will support you as a promoter. They will look at the long-term prospects of the company. Broadly, Shendeji, as a promoter, what would be your message to these new shareholders? What would you like to tell them? In the longer term, how would you add value?
So the basic idea is going back to one very famous English saying, "We the willing, led by the unknowing, are doing impossible for the ungrateful." We have done so much for so long with so little that we are qualified to do anything with nothing. We started this journey of naval air conditioning when the top line was 8 crores. The balance sheet was kind of not great, an MSME, typical MSME balance sheet. And we went on with the complete commitment to the cause, complete belief in our capabilities and my team's capabilities. We went on and on to create this scenario where an MSME, I think I am probably the first company from my town to get into stock exchange on our own, second company in my district. And with this kind of investor trust, we already have a significant amount of money invested in first couple of tranches by the investors. We are confident to generate excellent returns for all the stakeholders. Because every time in the past we tried to do some expansionist initiatives, we would get stuck on the finances.
Correct.
Today, that block has been removed, and we just have to let our imagination and our what you can say capabilities run wild in the market, address the chosen markets with same intensity, same focus, but now with a financially enabled company. We are absolutely confident of delivering excellent returns to my investors. Another interesting thing that now what we will be able to do, I have always been trying doing that even when we didn't have all the money that we are enjoying today, is that if you want to fight, say for example, Ajmal Hamid Kasab, who is carrying an AK-47, I can't send Mr. Tukaram Ombale with a stick. I have to enable my team with the best of the technology, best of the equipment, best of the software, best of the manufacturing infrastructure. Today, we are probably the only company which has gone to upgrade its welding technology to robotics
Correct.
and CNCs and all the kind of updated tech that goes into manufacturing good quality products at very competitive prices. So with the money, we are going to be funding a lot of expansionist initiatives, working capital being the single biggest
Correct.
driver. And we are confident to and in fact, I would like to tell my existing and would-be investors to please come and join the Make in India movement. Come and join to increase the Atmanirbhar Bharat. That's it.
Yeah. Well, I think very nicely mentioned by you, Shendeji. Last question now for today. Sir, every business has got some risk, although we have managed this risk very well over the last so many years. Sir, what is the most important risk in our business? Because see, defense, there is huge appetite, demand is growing. As you rightly said, India wants to encourage Make in India, Atma Nirbhar Bharat. Tell me one thing, sir. Is execution the only risk in our business, or is there any other risk which you keep in mind every day to ensure that the company operates smoothly on a 24/7 basis? Please tell us.
Obsolescence is a big risk.
Okay. Okay.
We have to be always on the guard for inducting newer and newer technologies. Like if
Okay.
we let a new tech induction miss, somebody else is going to do it for us.
Correct.
The second risk is, of course, works in the other way around. Geopolitical risk for rest of the businesses is a boon for my company. So,
Yes. Yes.
uh, okay, it's not exactly a what you can say something to be proud of, but geopolitical scenario increases intensity of expenditure on the defense segment, and it generates
Correct.
revenue for my company. My effort will always be to do justice to the money invested in the defense manufacturing by supplying the most competitive, highest quality products, which will be very well serviced by highly qualified technicians and engineers. And I'm glad that we have been able to induct some really good technology in the Navy at extremely competitive prices, I must tell you.
Correct.
Can't
Correct.
disclose the numbers here, but very competitive. And the numbers, order book is a gawah hai iske liye ki the kind of price competitiveness that we have been able to bring into this segment.
Correct. But I think very nicely mentioned by you, Shendeji and Manojji. I think thank you both of you for sparing valuable time. And sir, please accept my best wishes to you, your entire management team, and sir, best wishes for your forthcoming public issue also. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.
Avinashji, absolutely an honor to be able to interact with you on this platform. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.